So hi again, this is the third video about the prototypes I'm exploring for my research. So I'm calling it Transformation Labs, which would be public infrastructure, allowing citizens to repair, upcycle, and repurpose goods and materials. This is what I want to explore. So it's not necessarily making, or it's a kind of making, but particularly focused also on making with things that were already existing. What is a transformation lab and how does it relate to other kinds of organizations in cities and regions? What would be a transformation lab and how it connects? It can connect, for instance, with a second-hand shop or with a scrap warehouse or a reuse center, but also community repair organizations. So how a transformation lab would relate to these different public spaces or organizations? Secondly, what are the kinds of equipment that should be on transformation labs? So I have been inspired by examples of lists of equipments that you can see in different organizations, but I started with what would be a basic transformation lab, then what would be an intermediary, and finally advanced technologies for a transformation lab. What would they be? What are the governance implications for the transformation labs? How they would relate to different organizations and different bodies? What would be the policy for acceptance of materials? What would be the formal aspects of the transformation labs? Is it associative, open to the public, so only members can join in, or is it open to anyone in the public to use the materials and use the equipment? And finally, what is the funding, but not only funding, but the institutional setting that would be required for the transformation labs to be the best they can be? And finally, what are the characteristics of space? So do we need the space for sorting of materials? How much storage is needed? The workshop space, what are the characteristics? Is there the need for different scales of collective space as well as individual workspaces? And how do they interact?